For the avoidance of doubt, the simple side does not provide investment, tax, or legal advice. As with any asset, the value of any asset class can go up or down, and there can be substantial risk that you lose your money buying, selling, holding, or investing in any asset. You should carefully consider whether trading or holding assets is suitable for you in light of your financial condition.
I have a bunch of great information for you this week. We've got a super investor who's gone all in on one stock. I've also got some really interesting insider buys, insider sells, hedge fund buys, hedge fund sells, and politician trades as well from this past week. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the simple side. Market beating picks inside. There's no jargon and no time to...
All right, everybody, welcome back to a very different podcast, a very different format for what was once the Saturday Sendout and is probably going to remain the Saturday Sendout. But of course, this is coming to you on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, and we are talking about super investors, insiders, and politician trading. This is all information that is very actionable if you're one of those folks that likes to follow what all of the smartest market movers are doing in the markets. Of course, when I talk about super investors, I'm talking about folks like Warren Buffett, Michael Burry, Bill Ackman, all of those big names that you hear on the news all of the time. All of those investors have recently started to file their 2025 quarter one portfolio updates. And I'll tell you now, they are full of surprises. We will get into one of the most notable portfolio changes very soon here, but I just wanted to give you a quick insight into what that is, and that is Michael Burry liquidating all of his holdings except for one stock. However, that is not all. There are other investors that have made some big moves in the market, and we've seen a lot of theses being shaken to their core. As always, I appreciate your feedback. So let me know what you thought of today's newsletter by using the link in the newsletter that went out. Again, you can find this newsletter at thesimpleside.substack.com. It should be the first article that shows up when you go to the website. All right, let's get a quick peek into the top 10 bot stocks in Q1 of 2025. Those were Microsoft Corporation, ticker MSFT, $22.61 billion purchased. We've also got the iShares S&P 500 ETF, $21.24 billion purchased. Then we've got Amazon, ticker AMZN, with $17.4 billion purchased. Then we've got Apple, $15.8 billion purchased. Broadcom, AVGO, $15.02 billion purchased. Nvidia Corporation, ticker NVDA, $14.33 billion purchased. We've got Alphabet, also known as Google, ticker GOOGL, and that is $12.21 billion purchased, followed closely by Meta, ticker META, Charles Schwab, ticker SCHW, and last but not least, and almost most importantly, United Health Group, UNH, with $10.32 billion purchased. Now, you'll find out a bit more about why that United Health Group purchase is so important in just a bit. So stay tuned for that. But first, we're going to talk about the most purchased stock, which is Microsoft, and why this might be a great stock to invest into right now. The three largest buyers were Geode Capital Management, Vanguard, and BlackRock, who all bought a total of more than $8 billion worth of stock. The funds accounted for nearly 35% of total inflows into Microsoft, which of course crossed the $22.5 billion number. Now, if you're wondering whether or not it is time to ride the Microsoft wave, I have something that may help you out a bit. I went ahead and ripped through their most recent earnings call that they had, which was on April 30th, and put together some key takeaways for you. I'm going to cover just a few of them in the podcast, but if you want to see the rest of them, go ahead and jump over to the newsletter at thesimpleside.substack.com, and you can read the full list of positive and negative touch points that I put together. All right, we saw Microsoft cloud revenue surpass $42 billion, up 22%, showcasing strong demand for cloud and AI offerings. But more important than that, we saw Microsoft 365 Copilot usage triple year over year, indicating strong adoption of AI-driven productivity tools. Now, this is really surprising given that many people don't believe Copilot is going to be a major revenue driver for the company. However, there is likely a road to integrating the system into their entire suite or their entire ecosystem of products, Word, Excel, etc., to drive revenue for the company. Now, the company is clearly betting on being a major player in the AI space with their data center announcement plans and all of the investments that they're planning on making. So those are some things to be watching and very, very good news for the company. On the flip side, we did see server business revenue decrease by 6%, reflecting a continued shift to their cloud offerings. But again, if you're losing only 6% on your on-server premises revenue, but you're gaining 22% in your cloud service section, then you're doing just fine. And I want to highlight the other thing that they've done, which is invest billions of dollars into their data center offerings, which again is betting on their cloud infrastructure growing. So don't worry, they're well aware and making investments to continue to allow their best growing segment to continue its growth. We've also saw some gross margin percentages decrease, down by I think 3 points year over year, which is not that big of a deal. Again, this is probably being impacted by their focus on scaling their AI infrastructure. For long-term holders, Microsoft still looks like a solid stock to be invested in. And for those looking for safe and smart investments that are going to be around 5 to 10 years in the future, it will be just fine. It will remain a staple in my indicator portfolio, the Simple Side 50, which you can find by clicking on that link in the newsletter. It'll take you over to Double Finance, where you can invest into that portfolio that I have put together. All right, now we get to talk about something that I am extremely excited to talk about, which is the most convicted super investor that I have seen. Now, the most convicted super investors matter because they hold so few stocks in their portfolios and are willing to continue betting on those concentrated positions. One big investor everybody seems to be worried about now is Michael Burry. And before we get into his current market moves, I want to let you know that Burry's portfolio used to be made up of multiple stocks, although it still was not a massive grouping. He used to own 6 main stocks that made up a total of 71.9% of his portfolio. Those were Alibaba, Baidu, JD.com, Estee Lauder, Molina Healthcare, and PDD Holdings. So I'm sure you're wondering what made Burry the most convicted current super investor. And that's simple. He now only owns one stock in his portfolio. That stock is Estee Lauder, ticker symbol EL. And the question is why? Why Estee Lauder? Well, Burry is currently betting that the market is going down. He thinks we're going to be experiencing a downturn, and beauty and cosmetic companies are well known to be some of the most resilient during economic downturns. It does not matter how far the stock market is going down. Your wife, mom, girlfriend, grandmother all still want to look and feel great about themselves, which means they are going to spend the money to do so. Again, like I said, this just reflects on Burry's sentiment about the economy, expecting things to go down. But everybody's questioning why Burry's invested in Estee Lauder, why he's all in on EL. And although I just told you a great answer to why I think he's doing it, people are missing another aspect of Burry's portfolio, and that is his options holdings. Everybody knows that Burry was made famous by his derivatives holdings back in the housing market crash. And that is something else that he's betting on right now. He's got put options out on every stock, almost every stock that he used to hold in his previous portfolio. He has put options on Nvidia, put options on Alibaba, PDD, JD.com, Trip.com, and Baidu Inc. Again, he's got put options on almost every stock that he used to hold in his portfolio. And these are all new positions that he created in Q1 of 2025. Now, whether you want to follow in his footsteps or you think he is entirely wrong in his decision making, it doesn't matter. Make your pick. Do whatever you think is right. There is, however, one thing that nobody can disagree with, and that is that he is the highest convicted investor in the market right now. He is all in. All right, and before we end the podcast, I just want to remind you that you should go over and find this newsletter, www.thesimpleside.substack.com, and you'll find the post right there. We've got the largest insider buys for this week, including a very notable trade It's made on ticker UNH, also known as United Healthcare, down 41% over the past year. And for some reason, insiders just bought $32 million worth of stock. Seems like we should be paying attention to this trade. We've also got some stuff on the largest insider sells for this past week, plus the largest hedge fund buys over this past week, the largest hedge fund sells over this past week, and of course, the 5 most recent politician trades that have been made in the markets. So jump on over to the newsletter, thesimpleside.substack.com, and go take a look at all this. Again, fill out that survey and let me know what you thought of today's podcast and newsletter. Let me know if you like it, if you want this format going forward, if it should be more in-depth, something different, something changed. Go and fill it all out, and I will see you next weekend.